Hello everyone and welcome to the Freedom Alternative. Alright, so I'm recording this after I recorded several long videos, so please excuse me if I'm being a bit incoherent here, but these are things that need to be said, even though I really don't like airing these things in public. I mean, why can't we have nice things and only talk philosophy, news and politics and occasionally some technology, science and of course traveling on this channel? Why do we have to air some laundry? I mean, the madness. Anyway, so a few hours ago, I got off the phone with the 10th backer of this channel who called me to see how we can work out a way that works around Patreon, essentially. This is, as I'm sure you know, in response to Patreon's increasing leftist bias manifested through shutting down Lauren Southern's page. Now, I didn't weigh in on that drama because, as I always say, I try to stay away from such drama if it's possible, but it's no longer possible as I have to readjust the financing of this operation because of that drama, even though I had no involvement in it. Not to mention that the CEO of Patreon came out and justified this in a very Orwellian fashion using fancy expressions like manifested observable behavior. Well, from where I'm standing, Patreon's manifested observable behavior is one of a leftist, and the CEO's manifested observable behavior is one of a cuck. Now, I've been having my beefs with Patreon for over a year now, since they, and only they, decided to kowtow to the European Union of Soviet Socialist Republics' demand that they collect VAT. So since then, I've been slowly trying to persuade my backers who live in the European Union, especially those who donate more than $10 a month, to eschew Patreon and use direct PayPal donations or Bitcoin. And it's not because I trust PayPal a lot, because I don't, and I still don't trust Bitcoin. But there are no solutions, only trade-offs, as I usually say. And it is, in my opinion, and most of the donors who live in the EU, a better trade-off to give $20 and be sure I get at least 19.60 instead of you giving 24 and me getting 18, the rest going partly to the Romanian state, partly straight to Brussels, and partly on fees. So it's not like I decided out of the blue to pick on Patreon. I have been slowly moving away from them for quite some time now. Basically, the people still supporting me on Patreon are largely living outside the European Union, and for that particular demographic, Patreon is still the best because it allows for planning and better budgeting. After all, that's why creators set up Patreon accounts. In many, if not most instances, it is preferable to get, let's say, $200 a month than $500 this month and $20 in the next month. Even though overall the latter is more profitable, it is far less friendly with proper budgeting. Although in fairness, I'm a fiscal conservative, so that is less of an issue for me than for other creators. I mean, after all, we're going to Georgia and Armenia based on donations, large and small, over a span of 10 months. So I'm not saying proper budgeting is impossible without Patreon. What I am saying is that it's far less convenient. For instance, I pay the electricity bill on the 7th of each month, and the Patreon contributions get into my bank account on the 5th or rarely on the 6th. So it's very convenient and straightforward to know that the electricity is always paid in time via this mechanism. So with all that said, I will not shut down the Patreon account for now, but I will advise the remaining EU citizens supporting me on Patreon and also those considering supporting me in the future to consider PayPal or Bitcoin, not just because Patreon started to suck even more, but also to avoid giving extra shekels to governments. Again, this is particularly relevant for pledges $10 a month or higher. At the moment of this recording, this applies to exactly 5 individuals. Now, on the other issue, the issue of censorship in general. As I said in other videos addressing this type of internal kitchen type of content, YouTube has largely remained very decent, especially when compared to Facebook and Twitter, which went full bananas, particularly in the last 12 months or so. Recently, there was the minor scandal of Jordan Peterson having gotten locked locked out of his account for a couple of hours, but at the moment of this recording, for all intents and purposes, it appears to have been just a mistake, or at worst, some retarded intern. His account was swiftly restored, and for all we know, it could have been even just a sloppy algorithm. The same thing happened to me before I had this channel on another account. I got the same treatment with the account restored in a matter of hours. Now, admittedly, Peterson's account was restored in under 2 hours. Mine took like 5 hours. It's annoying, but I have no evidence that such incidents are either intentional or politically motivated. Basically, what I'm saying is be wary of these things, but stay focused. So far, for all the doom and gloom predictions, YouTube has been remarkably okay with the non-left, and like I said in other videos, YouTube is undoubtedly freer now than it was before it was acquired by Google. Those of you who are older on YouTube can remember how easy it was to take down a video, 10 or 15 flaggings from triggered snowflakes, and down the memory hole your video went. All of that is essentially gone at this point. And I know this from personal experience, as I've had some of my videos mass flagged, and Google sent me an email informing me about that, and also informing me that flags were all rejected. Basically, what I'm saying is that for all its glitches, errors, and inconveniences, YouTube is still pretty solid, and even more importantly, we, all of us on the non-left, dominate it. And that is fantastic. It's the first time the forces of the non-left did not just abandon a cultural platform like they did with Hollywood or the news media or the arts in general and so on and so forth. It's the first time the forces of the non-left didn't do that, but instead stayed on and fought for the platform tooth and nail and won. I'm not willing to just walk away from that. Besides, walk away where? To the Minds.com echo chamber that looks bad and works like crap? Please get real. There are works to make a YouTube-like platform that would even allow migrating entire YouTube channels easily, and would also include Patreon-like subscriptions, and would be decentralized, meaning that the platform owners cannot censor something even if they really want to. Basically, blockchain YouTube. Now that, admittedly, sounds fabulous, and if it will work, that's a place I'll go should YouTube become crap. Because for now, all the alternatives just have poorer trade-offs. On vid.me, you get to stay alongside porn channels and lots of spam and zero monetization. And on minds.com, you get to stay in an echo chamber that doesn't even work well. Not to mention the company owning it being even less accountable than Google. So we gotta be realistic here. Alternatives are worth considering only when they're really better. Like with Gab, for instance. I mean, Gab does everything Twitter does, has no obvious bugs and practices, no censorship, and that is fantastic. When that will come up for videos, it will be a great day, but for the time being, I'll be conservative about this stuff and avoid jumping irrationally into various hypes. Ultimately, I guess it does depend what you aim. If you aim a large approving crowd, then maybe it's worth migrating into echo chambers. If you aim small, like I do, and especially if you aim to target individuals and groups outside of your persuasion, then for now, YouTube is the best place for that. Anyway, I've rambled enough, so I guess I'll be ending here. Oh, no, actually, no, I won't be ending here. One more thing while we're at it. The Georgia-Armenia fundraiser is getting close to an end. We're at about $1,500, maybe $1,550, so almost 85% of the goal. This is fantastic in and of itself, and by the time I leave, maybe we can get up to the full goal. Now, today I'm going to later on, after I videotape this, I'm going to buy train tickets from here to Budapest. I tried buying them last week, and I was told that they don't sell international tickets for more than 20 days in advance. Whatever. I'll try again today. As I said in the presentation, that particular goal is not the full cost of the tour. For instance, it doesn't include health insurance for me while I'm there and other miscellaneous stuff. And again, it's not like if the goal is exceeded, there aren't other needs as well. For instance, I'm now eyeing on some studio equipment to use outdoors to improve the sound of outdoor and impromptu videos. Now that I have pretty much all I need in the studio, though I could use another 1 or 2 terabytes hard drive. I mean, it does seem easy, but this operation has a lot of recurring costs, especially when considering the goals we have in mind here at Freedom Alternative. Anyway, yeah, that will be pretty much it. So thanks a lot for watching, and I'll be back with the serious content that I already videotaped today. Over and out. Cheers.